Hi everybody, it's Dee again. I'm sure you have heard about what's going on as far as the economy is concerned and about the global collapse that's happening now. Japan is in a recession right now. And last Monday, we all heard about, they're calling it Black Monday now, $1.4 trillion lost in a day. And we know that the Feds control the interest rates. They're trying to keep the inflation down. From what I've been listening to others like Sean Fu, the Feds had kept the interest rate too high, too low. And I believe it's too late for them to try to make a difference here. And we have to remember that this is election year. And so we're going to hear certain economists, maybe politicians trying to ease our minds about what's going on. But we have to take caution. Very, because this is serious. This is very serious right now. If you have not heard, Japan and China have been dropping U.S. Treasury bonds like hotcakes. And other countries, African countries, India, have been requesting that gold back from the U.S. and the U.K. There's serious trouble going on or international with it. Keep that in mind, because it's not going to get any better out here. Because many countries are facing collapse, and this is one country for sure. The United States is on the verge of collapse, financial collapse. Now they can try to put a Band-Aid on it all they want, but it's only so much they can do. They can't cover it up for so long, because we know when we go shopping, the grocery stores, what have you, we see how high the prices are, and we know that the GDP, the gross natural product, it depends on how the consumers are spending. We know that many people can't even afford to pay mortgages, to pay rent, credit cards. Some people are at the credit card limit. From what I've read and heard, some people they owe, a large percentage owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, people. We can't go on like this. And we have to be cautious as far as some of these places that are in business for, advance, cash in advance. Oh no. That is disastrous. If anybody go for that, don't even try it. They had their little policies all posted up all around their windows and their walls. Who have time to even read all of that? So that little small print. That is, a person is setting themselves up for financial disaster, even more so. And I've been going over some notes from the 1929 crash, and believe me, there are many similarities. Even back then, what's going on right now. Because the Lord word tells us that what has been is what will be. There's nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything repeats. What has been done will be done. There's nothing new. What's going on? History repeats. And there are so many similarities that I had run across. We know that William Durant, he's the founder of GM and a small group of businessmen. They were in control of the businesses, financial businesses back then. They had all the money. They are the ones who started the stock market gang here. All right, like back then, $2.5 billion of wealth was It was in the hands of this very few. Like it for one day, that's a great deal of money back then. And Charles Mitchell, he was the president of the City National Bank back then. It was his idea to include the general public, the average Joe, to start to have access to the stock market, which again is a big business. They call it the well, I don't have that. It was all about getting, because we know there's more people at the bottom than at the top, and when there's very few at the top, very few, like what, 1%, and now we have so many billionaires. Well, even right now today, who's getting wealthier? Even today, with all this inflation and the financial crisis going on globally, the billionaires, the elites. Well, anyway, it was his ideal to include the general public. And we know that the stock market game is all about borrowing credit that leads to debt. It's just borrowing money. All right, and so, yeah, credit borrowing, and then the interest rates increase when you're borrowing this money, when you're borrowing. And so, back then, the elites, this is a small group, they would get together a small pool of them. They call it a pool back then. And they would inflate a share, or the prices of share on a share, and sell it very high. They'll sell it high, and then unexpectedly they would just pull out of it and not informing the general public, and then the stock would just collapse. But guess who gained financially? I mean, a huge profit was that small pool of the elites. In other words, they had taken advantage of the general public even back then, and it's probably still going on right now. Especially if people are not knowledgeable about the stock market. You may even have a stockbroker, but is that person really informing you about what's really going on? But again, the wealthy were the ones who gained the huge profits when they play games like that. Or right now what they're doing. And again, remember now, it's a game, a financial game. And you think about credit cards. When people, it's all about buy now and pay later. That interest is going to grow. Or that interest is going to continue on if you don't pay off that credit card debt right away. That's why you have to be careful. And also back then, it was a man named Roger Babson, Babson. He was predicting back then. He was a critic of Wall Street or Main Street. And he said a crash is coming. Of course, people were in denial back then. But like around March 25th, 26th, interest rates soared all of a sudden. Many people were calling in, borrowing money to cover the value of their stock. All right. Again, it was a credit crush. But what happened was Charles Mitchell, he put a Band-Aid on it back then. He had come up with a $20 million credit line to put a Band-Aid on this credit crush, or this almost crash that was getting ready to take place. Now remember, that was temporarily. Now remember, we're still in 1929. It's coming. And so after that, and then we had many problems back then with the economy, similar to what we're having today. Sales were dropping. You know, the people were not buying. Many people were deeply in debt. Isn't that not what's going on right now? Steel and construction production was down. Car sales were down. You know, cars were not selling. And many people were borrowing. So, and that's why right now today your feds have the interest rates so high. It's to limit people from borrowing from the banks or borrowing loans. But I'm telling you, people, there's so many similarities here. On September the 25th, this is when the crash was getting ready to start. Again, Roger Babson had given a warning again. It was coming. It was the fear of greed was going on. It was the up and down roller coaster was going on. On October 24th, it was a stumble. It was called the Black Thursday. Now, October the 29th, that was the Tuesday. Everybody wanted to sell. Nobody wanted to buy. There were no buyers. The stock market, the investors, they didn't know what to do. They could not find any buyers. So you know what happened? The bottom of the market fell. That was the crash. There was nothing Charles Mitchell or anybody could do back then. Even Durant was trying to use his own money, his own millions, trying to stabilize the stock market back then. But guess what? It did not help. He was putting his own self in deeper debt. And I want to read to you all Proverbs 22:16. It says, "He who oppresses the poor to increase his riches, and he who gives to the rich will surely come to poverty." And let me show you some more scriptures about this. People who get caught up into these schemes to try to get wealthy at a fast rate without really earning their way. We have to earn our. People have to learn to earn our way in this life, because nothing is for free. Believe me. This like gambling. That's risky. The stock market is risky. But here we go. Try this. Take a look here. These are. I have two for you. They're in the book of Proverbs. All right, and what I just read to you all. Look these verses up, people. I'm telling you, everything is in the Lord's word, because the Lord's word is true and nothing but the truth. Everything is in there. Be careful. The Lord's word says, "Do not shake your right hand to pledge for something which you cannot pay. Why take your bed from you, from under you?" That's when people buy on credit, using the credit cards. If you don't have a lump sum of money, or at least enough, a good percentage to pay off their credit card debt, you're only putting yourself in debt even deeper, because it's going to take you longer to pay off that debt. Take caution in these last days like this, people. Avoid debts. Take caution right now also with the stock market. Many people have 401ks, what have you. Start thinking about what's going on here, because it's fluctuating. Right now, they're saying that the stock market, it went up some. But guess what, people? It can fall again. Again, look at other countries. Japan, India are facing recession right now. This country is on the verge of a collapse, of a recession. They can try to deny it or put a Band-Aid on it all they want. You hear in the media or these economists. But be careful who you're listening to. I listen to Sean Vu, Foo. He's very good with this economic information, because we have to be careful who we're listening to in these last days. Thank you for listening. If you touch and agree, thank you. But again, people, be careful who you're listening to. Read the Lord's word. Avoid debt in these last days. Thank you.